Hey virtual pilots, welcome back to another live stream today in the Boeing 737-900ER. That's the extended range variant. We'll be doing that with a full load, a full complement of passengers, 204 passengers in that extra long version of the 737. We are flying from Oslo, Norway today. There's some new add-on scenery that has just been released, so we'll be taking a look at that. We'll be flying with Say Intentions AI today. These are much bigger airports, so we've got Cockpit and Heathrow that is our destination. Having done a little bit of flying with Say Intentions AI over the last couple of days, there's a very good chance that, particularly on the approach, but possibly also on the taxi, that Say Intentions AI is going to ask us to do some fairly bonkers stuff. So this is an exploration into how bonkers we can get Say Intentions AI to be. So we are already on the stand at good morning. It's a sim brief. Flight as always, so if we just get our flight plan all set up. So we're going to be going for departure time. I think let's call it 1900, so 24 minutes we'll give ourselves, there or thereabouts. So Boeing 739, it's the economy version, so we're expecting a runway 1 left departure, runway 9 left arrival, with one alternative. We've got our route there, so we'll be putting that into the autopilot in a second. Cost index of 18 and payload auto, passengers 204, so a full complement of passengers this evening. Let's generate that flight. Say Intentions AI is integrated into my SimBrief profile, so it'll automatically connect and get all of that pulled down, and then we can pull that into our charts. That should give us everything that we need. Jolly good. Right, so I think what we'll now do is start to get our aircraft configured. You can see we're having another attempt at getting our clever funky bar at the top to work. That gives you some cool flight information. The first thing that we are going to do is bring in fuel information, which we're going to get off of our tablet here. So if we load in a SimBrief flight, there we go. We've got all of our details, weather, payload, etc. So if we go down to our FMC, and we can get the fuel dialed in. Let's just make that a bit smaller. So 8675 kilograms, 8675 kilograms on the fuel. And our payload is 162 in economy, plus 12, so that's 172,182. Not quite the 204 that we were expecting, but that's okay. It's close enough. And in terms of Payload cargo is 3,800. So if we put, I don't know, 1,650 at the front, 1,650 at the back, that will be there or thereabouts. So load level 82.4%. That's all looking okay. Let's get ground power connected. And let's get this aircraft alive. So lower overhead panel. Okay, ground power's on. We've got realistic IRS calibration on, so let's get that going. Where your distance from the equator determines how long this calibration is going to take. So 15 minutes, not entirely unexpected. Let's get passengers boarding, I think. In fact, what I should do, let's bear with me, I've muted the other audio device. Start getting our passengers loaded in.
Boarding requested.
Boarding. You should have sim sound now, dead STK. Hopefully you can hear that now. And we've got our jetway connected, and in a second we should be getting some passengers.
Board crew. Passengers boarding starting.
Okay, right, let's get some details into our FMC. We are ENGM. We're at gate 26. In fact, we should probably get some departure clearances before we fill some of this in. We're probably okay to make some reasonable assumptions. I think we're going to be runway 1 left. We're heading to EGLL, Heathrow. We are Bravo Alpha Whiskey 766. Departing 01 left, and we will be departing on the Verpa 1 Alpha departure. Check that is correct. It is. Mount departure. It's going to take us round here, over here, and then down to Vipper. No specific altitudes, and I did a very quick test of this with Say Intentions AI earlier, and you can see quite clearly here, you know, you need altitude of 3,900 feet. To avoid that, it gave me an initial altitude of 2,000 feet, which had every terrain warning in this bird going off, which was interesting. No reserves. We've got a cost index of 18. We will be cruising at 30,000 feet. Flight level 300. Execute that. N1 limits. We will do D rate 24k. Flaps 5 takeoff. We've got all of our VREF speeds. So, let's get our flight plan dialed in. So, we are... pop that over here. So, we are direct Linvey. Then L39. L39 to Gollum, no less. Where he's defending the one ring. Gollum. N866. To up gas. I love some of these waypoint names are proper nerdy humour, but what can I say? Up gas. Then direct to Taipan. Then we will be going N866. N866 to Phuket. P7, Papa 7 to Barmy, and that is probably enough for us in terms of prep of the aircraft. Let's execute that. Takeoff details are in. Okay. Passengers still boarding. Starting to get dark. So I think before it gets too dark, we'll get ourselves some lights on. And get our overhead. See how long that's got left to go. 6 minutes. It's not too bad. Okie dokie. Passengers still boarding. So add-on airport comes with the GSX profile, so it's got largely all of the sort of passengers using the jetways quite nicely. It's quite nice to see. As always, this evening is a alcohol-fueled flight. We have a fine bottle, not a bottle of wine before anybody asks. It's a bottle of cider. In fact, I have a second one stashed over by the cockpit for when we take off. But this is the finest asphalt, depending on your pronunciation. Yes, yet another virtual reality pilot alcohol-fueled stream. Right, we should get the APU on. Right, wait for the EGT to come up. It will spike, then drop down. About half the passengers now boarded.
Good evening, ma'am. How are you? I'm doing good.
Not sure why that's not started up. There we go, that's better. Wonder, I'm much more used to doing this in VR, so when I do it on a flat screen I get a little disorientated with the knobs, as it were. Wait for that EGT to come down and settle. Which VR headset do I use? I use currently the Varo Aero. I have been considering getting myself a Pimax headset. But currently I'm on the Aero. Right, we can get rid of the ground power. And now I think we are going to have to get ourselves in VR. So, folks, I can read the comments in VR. I kind of have to sort of flick between different screens and the headset to do it. So I'll have a quick check of them before we sort of taxi and take off. Whilst I'm taxiing and taking off, I'm unlikely to be reading them. But then once we're back up in the air, I'll be having a gander so we can have a natter. Good stuff. Right, without further ado, let's get ourselves into VR. Oh, hopefully you can all hear me. Yeah, that's looking good. I'm just going to switch on my digital kneeboard, which will, I'm sure, cause Microsoft Flight Simulator to stutter. It's this weird thing, and whenever a new peripheral seems to attach itself, it doesn't sort of handle that especially elegantly. Okay, good stuff. Right, just need to get my kneeboard centered in the correct place. So, settings, recenter. And then hopefully you can see that's what we get. And I've got myself a little template, actually. So I can copy down things like the QNH, the winds, runway, and then the classic craft. So clearance, route, altitude, frequency, and transponder. So of course today our route will be taking us to London Heathrow. Our runway is going to be one left. We don't know the winds, we don't know the QNH, we don't know the transition. This is for, you know, like putting in the ATC number, etc. So unfortunately, because of the way that this kneeboard works, you won't be able to see all of that, but just give you a little preview of how it works. Right, let's get the ATC information. Stutter, whilst sim brief and all of the charts, etc. load. So ATC 127150. Ah, that's a shame. Why is that not working? That is going to be a bit of a pain. I might have to cheat and use shame. Never mind, we'll have to use the mouse. 127150. Okay, let's get the ATC information.
Ion Victor. 1820 Zulu. Wind 050 at 6. Visibility 10. Sky conditions, clear. Temperature 7. Decimal 13. QNH 1029er. Arriving and departing runways 1 right 1 left. Visual approach is in use. Advise on course heading altitude and if flight following is requested. Read back all runway and hold short instructions. VFR departures contact clearance delivery on 121.68. Advise on initial contact. You have information Victor. Oslo Airport information Victor.
Okay,
1820
121.
Wind 050 at 6.
68.
Visibility 10. Sky conditions, clear. Temperature 7. Decimal 13. QNH 1029er. Arriving and departing runways 1 right.
Guard mode and delivery, Speedbird 766, radio check.
Speedbird 766, Gardermoon clearance, roger, readability 5.
Guardman clearance, Speedbird 766, type Boeing 737-900 at stand 26, with information Victor, QNH 1029. Request IFR clearance to Heathrow.
Speedbird 766, I hear you, 1 sec.
So a little bit of delay whilst the AI sorts out its response.
Speedbird 766, information Victor is correct. Cleared to Heathrow via the VIPA 1, a departure then is filed. Departure runway 01 left. Initial climb to 2000. Departure on 128.9er. Squawk 4515.
Cleared to Heathrow via the VIPA 1 Alpha departure. Runway 01 left. Initial altitude 2000. Departure on 128.9. Squawk 4515. Speedbird 766.
Speedbird 766, read back correct. Expect runway 1 left. Contact ground on 121.855.
Over to ground, Speedbird 766.
Bird 766, contact ground on 121.855.
Yeah, that's gonna get me through the whole flight. 121 decimal 855. Okay, right, let's get ourselves ready for pushback before we request it. And let's make sure our landing gear is down, as that's not very helpful, is it? Go flaps 5.
Learjet tree, Lima Juliet, taxi to holding point Bravo via taxiway Charlie.
Taxiing to holding point Bravo via Charlie Learjet tree, Lima Juliet.
Trim 5. Trim 5, right. Let's get ourselves ready for pushback. Let's get rid of the wheel chocks.
Falcon 762, Foxtrot Romeo, continue taxi via taxiway Bravo, hold short of taxiway Echo. Continuing taxi via Bravo, holding short of Echo Falcon 762, Foxtrot Romeo.
Probably need to get rid of that. I'm surprised that it didn't move actually after the there we go. Get that front door closed as well. Right, that's the door closed.
Gulfstream 671 Golf Sierra, hold short of taxiway Delta, waiting for departing traffic.
Holding short of taxiway Delta Gulfstream 671 Golf Sierra.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Nice to see they've got the regional dialects down actually. It's a nice little touch. Does help with immersion.
Airbus 450 Alpha Bravo, hold short of taxiway Lima traffic on final approach.
Holding short of taxiway Lima Airbus 450 Alpha Bravo.
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted.
Gulfstream 671 Golf Sierra, taxi to runway 12 via taxiways Bravo and Delta. Taxiing to runway 12 via Bravo and Delta, Gulfstream 671 Golf Sierra.
Locking gear.
Hawker 511 Hotel Alpha, proceed to holding point Bravo 2 via taxiway Charlie. Proceeding to holding point Bravo 2 via Charlie Hawker 511 Hotel Alpha.
Oh, there's a dude like levitating across the ground there. It was always fun to see. Garden Morning ground Speedbird 766 request push and start.
Speedbird 766 Gardermoen ground. I am working on that clearance. Stand by.
I mean, it didn't seem like...
766 Gardermoen ground push and start approved. Report for taxi.
Push and start approved. Report ready for taxi. Speedbird 766. Didn't seem like a complicated request. Ooh. Lordy, where did that go? I need that. Alright, let's continue pushback. Straight.
Release parking brakes, please.
Straight pushes here. At Oslo.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at wheel.
There we go. N2 coming up on engine 2.
Hawker 511 Hotel Alpha hold short of taxiway Bravo, awaiting departure clearance. Holding short of taxiway Bravo Hawker 511 Hotel Alpha.
Fuel going in.
Please set parking brakes. Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Okay, N2.
King Air 145
Engine
Kilo Alpha,
1
hold short
coming
of
up.
taxiway Charlie traffic on final approach.
Holding short of taxiway Charlie King Air 145 Kilo Alpha.
Introducing fuel.
Unlocking gear.
Oh, it's epic, this airport in VR. The sense of the size and scale of the thing. I mean, you're obviously looking at something similar to it, but I mean,
Tow truck disconnected.
it's not the
Bypass
same
your
on a
road.
flat screen monitor. It does not convey the scale at all.
Engines clear.
King
Right
Air
clear.
145 Kilo Alpha cross runway 12 contact ground on 121.9. Crossing runway
Okay,
12,
that's
contacting
both the
ground on
engines up and
121.9. King Air
running.
145 Kilo Alpha.
Let's get over to those, get the APU off and get the fuel all on.
Falcon 762 Foxtrot Romeo cross runway 22 contact ground on 121.9.
And we've got some on the center tanks as well.
Ground on 121.9.
Better get those on as well.
762 Foxtrot Romeo.
Get the air conditioning on. Get that off. Hydraulics, hydraulics. Windscreen heat. And that. And we're cruising at 30,000 feet. Get that dialed in.
Cherokee Tree 15 X-ray Papa. Proceed to holding point Alpha 2 via taxiway Bravo.
Proceeding to holding point Alpha 2 via
Let's
Bravo
get the Q and H dialed in before we forget. 029. Okay, it's looking good. Garden Ground, Speedbird 766, request taxi.
to runway 1 left via Papa Golf November. Contact tower on 120.1 when ready for departure.
Taxi runway 01 left via Papa Golf November. Contact tower on 120.1, Speedbird 766. Right, taxi lights are coming on. So we are going Papa Golf November. Golf November. This is what it did to me earlier. Like Papa's up here. That wouldn't make sense. So we're just
908 Charlie Echo, hold short of taxiway Lima traffic on final approach.
We'll just go Golf November holding point Alpha 1. I mean, what that instruction should have said is something like taxi runway 01 left holding point Alpha 2 via Golf November. That would have made a little bit more sense. Let's get our logo lights on, wing lights on, and wheel well lights. Because we've done a straight back, we have the hard turn to the right.
Hawker 511 Hotel Alpha. Proceed to holding point Charlie via taxiway Bravo. Proceeding to holding point Charlie via Bravo Hawker 511 Hotel Alpha. Tornado 892 Tango Oscar, hold short of taxiway hotel traffic on final approach. Holding short of taxiway hotel Tornado 892 Tango Oscar.
Such a great scenery pack. I'm going to follow their clearance instruction. So, as great as Say Intentions AI is, it's not perfect. That 2,000 feet clearance doesn't make any sense with the mountains that you can see quite clearly in front of us. They are quite good at getting people to feed back. There's a method.
Embraer 225 Echo Mike, follow the Falcon, continue taxi to the ramp via taxiway Bravo.
Particularly for like VFR reference points, etc. Just to turn that ATC down for a second. There is a mechanism for VFR traffic to feedback, like visual reference points and stuff, so no reason to think no reason to think that they can't extend that for, you know, some like anomalies that people pick up on IFR flights, etc. So you know, an example here is they would not give you an initial clearance instruction to 2,000 feet here. So not down there. Next one should be November. Let's start getting the autopilot on.
Taxi to runway 27 via taxiways Golf and Hotel. Taxiing to runway 27 via Golf and Hotel, Learjet 333 Lima Juliet.
No, it's max speed of 230.
Learjet 333 Lima Juliet, cleared across runway 21, contact apron on 131.2. cleared across runway 21, contacting apron on 131.2, Learjet 333 Lima Juliet. King Air 145 Kilo Alpha taxi to holding point Bravo 2 via taxiway Delta and Echo. Taxiing to holding point Bravo 2 via Delta and Echo King Air 145 Kilo Alpha.
Looks epic. Really looks awesome. That's him, I think, next time, folks, because having this airport full of other people, I think I just take it to the next level. You'll see when we take off that the terrain warning is going to go mad. Actually, in fact, what we could do when we switch over to the tower, we could ask for an altitude increase, see how they manage to cope with that. And 6,000 would feel like it makes a bit more sense.
Alpha Bravo. Continue taxi turn right at the next intersection. Hold short of runway 30. Continuing taxi turning right at the next intersection, holding short of runway 30, Airbus 450 Alpha Bravo.
Quite a steep turn here, so
Falcon 762 Foxtrot Romeo cross runway 24, contact ground on 121.6.
Crossing runway 24, contacting ground on 121.6, Falcon 762 Foxtrot Romeo.
Hawker 511 Hotel Alpha, proceed to the ramp via taxiway Echo, contact ground on 121.8.
Proceeding to the ramp via Echo, contacting ground on 121.8, Hawker 511 Hotel Alpha.
I'm going to do that the whole flight. 120-100.
Cherokee Tree 15 X-ray Papa, proceed to runway 28 via taxiways Echo and Foxtrot. Proceeding.
Gardermoen Tower, Speedbird 766, holding short, runway 01 left, holding point Alpha 1. Request clearance altitude increase to 6,000, Speedbird 766. Let's see how they do with that request. Probably should have done that with clearance.
Speedbird 766 Gardermoen Tower. Climb and maintain 6,000 after departure. Runway 1 left, cleared for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff, Speedbird 766. I mean, I'll give him that. That's not bad. That's not bad. Right, landing lights on. Pitot heat is on. We are going 6,000. That's pretty good. I'll give them that. Max 230. And what's our transition altitude? I bet it's going to say by ATC somewhere. I think... Oh, transition altitude 7,000. Okay. Okay, cool. Right, let's do this.
Skyhawk 542 Alpha X-ray, turn left heading 090 vector for traffic.
Left to 090 Skyhawk 542 Alpha X-ray.
Bonanza 64 Fox Alpha 2 cleared for takeoff, runway tree 0, wind calm.
Cleared for takeoff, runway tree 0, Bonanza 64 Fox Alpha 2.
Let's go 40 and 40% M1. Okay, it's coming up evenly. Stabilized. Let's punch it.
Mooney 824 Foxtrot Delta, extend downwind. I'll call your base.
Extending downwind, awaiting base call. Mooney 824 Foxtrot Delta.
We are going to use all this runway. Rotate. Gear up. Gardermoen Tower, Speedbird 766, airborne. Flaps 1. Autopilot. On.
Speedbird 766, climb and maintain 3,000, fly heading 185 vectors for the ILS runway 1 left approach.
I'm fairly certain that's not what I'm trying to do. We've confused it by telling it we were airborne. We're going to stick with our 6,000 feet on our departure.
Speedbird 766, contact departure on 121.855.
Departure on 121.855, Speedbird 766. Good morning, departure, Speedbird 766, Viper 1 Alpha, departure, 3,400 for 6,000, Speedbird 766. Interesting, no response. Gardermoen departure, Speedbird 766, radio check.
Nobody is listening on 121.855.
Okay, I mean that's what you told me to go to. Let's go back to the tower. Let's do 118475. Oh, centre 118825. 118825. One 825. Glamorgan Control, Speedbird 766, Viper 1 Alpha departure, altitude 6,000 feet, Speedbird 766.
Speedbird 766 Polaris Control, roger, QNH 1028.
QNH 1028, Speedbird 766. Okay, that's better. We've re-established some contact.
Speedbird 766, contact Oslo approach on 129.3.
Oslo approach on 129.3, Speedbird 766. Oslo approach, a Speedbird 766, with you 6,000 feet. It's interesting, no response. You would expect them to acknowledge you.
American 1145, slow to 170 knots. 5 mile final contact tower 118.3, good night.
170 tower 118.3, good night American 1145.
Polaris control. Let's see, let's Polaris control. Let's try that. Polaris control, Speedbird 766, Viper 1 Alpha departure, altitude 6,000 feet.
Speedbird 766 Oslo approach, Roger QNH 1028.
QNH 1028, Speedbird 766. Polaris control, Speedbird 766, request altitude increase, request climb.
Speedbird 766, climb and maintain flight level 270.
Climb, maintain flight level 270, Speedbird 766. Well, that's pretty spectacular at night. That's our transition level. So, over onto standard barometric pressure. Taxi lights off. Oh, yeah, that looks incredible.
Diamond Tree 29 Sierra Tango reduced to 100 knots. Your number 2 following a Cessna.
Slowing to 100 knots, number 2 behind the Cessna tree.
That moon reflecting down on the water looks bloody amazing.
Piper 45 Charlie Papa cleared for the visual 24, maintain 90 knots.
Cleared for the visual 24, maintaining 90 knots, 45 Charlie Papa.
Right, we're over 10,000 feet, landing lights coming off.
Flowing to 100 knots, number 2 behind the Cessna Tree 29er Sierra Tango.
Very civilized.
JetBlue 183 traffic departing runway 27, climb and maintain 7,000, turn left heading 210.
Climbing to 7,000 left to 210, JetBlue 183.
Speedbird 766, contact Polaris Control on 118.825.
Going over to Polaris Control on 118.825, Speedbird 766. Pretty sure that's a frequency that ignored me before, but we'll give it a go. Polaris Control, Speedbird 766, with you, flight level 173.
Speedbird 766, Polaris Control, roger.
Probably should have told them I was climbing and what altitude I was going to, but they seemed satisfied with my greeting. Ooh, whoopsie. Oh, that's what happens when you bosh your keyboard with a bottle of cider.
Hawaiian 645, climb and maintain flight level 380.
I suspect that will be the
Climbing to
keyboard
flight level
connecting.
380, Hawaiian 645.
Stutter, stutter. Stutter, stutter. Do not crash. Don't do it. Oh. We do not need the landing gear down. Thank you very much. Again, very, very, very annoying things that Microsoft Flight Simulator does.
Maintain flight level 320. Climbing to flight level 320, Delta 246.
We're going to tuck that keyboard out of the way. Why, it does the same thing when my art tablet connects. I've got no idea why. I need to work it out. It lowers the landing gear. It's not getting a control particularly, but any sort of Bluetooth device that seems to connect, down comes the landing gear. We can probably go start speeding up a bit.
Southwest 912, proceed direct to the Blanc intersection. Direct to Blanc intersection, Southwest 912.
Polaris Control, Speedbird 766, a request, climb to cruise altitude, flight level 300.
Speedbird 766, climb and maintain flight level 300.
Climb, maintain flight level 300, Speedbird 766.
4001, clear direct to Delta Alpha November Vor. Clear direct to Delta Alpha November Vor, Delta 401.
Okay, coming up on 25,000 feet.
FedEx 389, heavy descend and maintain 12,000.
Descending to 12,000 FedEx 389 heavy.
Well, my little banner thing appears to have continued working.
Alaskan 413, expect
Nice,
runway 09
that's
for
good.
landing.
Pleased with that.
Expecting runway 09er, Alaskan 413.
One of the challenges of having all of these various sort of apps and things open and running is that, well, inevitably as you practice these things on your own, they work absolutely fine. Second that you go to live stream, of course they stop working.
Traffic in sight, Cirrus 555, Sierra Mike. Spirit 792, expect direct waypoint Tango India Mike in 5 minutes.
Expecting direct to Tango India Mike in 5 Spirit 792.
Cirrus 446, Sierra Papa remain outside Bravo airspace contact approach on 123.45. Remaining outside Bravo, switching to 123.45, Cirrus 446, Sierra Papa. FedEx 101 heavy, reduced speed to 280 knots for sequencing.
Slowing to 280 knots FedEx 101 heavy.
Okay, within 1,000 feet of our cruise altitude.
Reducing to 220 knots Virgin 875.
United 758, maintain separation with traffic ahead. Reduce speed to 200 knots.
Reducing to 200 knots for separation, United 758.
And there we are at cruise altitude.
American 225, climb and maintain flight level 350.
Climbing to flight level 350.
So we've got a ground speed of 428 knots. An indicated airspeed of almost half that. Slightly less than half, 250 knots, Mach 0.66. One hell of a sunset over there. That's very, very nice.
Slowing to 280 knots FedEx 101 heavy.
Right, I'm going to dare to see if I can get us over onto the flat screen view without crashing the sim. Hold on to your hats.
421, heavy climb and maintain flight level 370. Climbing to flight level 370, Lufthansa 421, heavy. November 321, Charlie Zulu, descend and maintain 9,000.
Descending to 9,000, November 321, Charlie Zulu.
Alaska 709, clear direct to waypoint Bravo Romeo India. Clear direct to Bravo Romeo India, Alaska 709.
Hopefully you're all still with me, folks. We've got John. Oh, John! Yes! Oh, nice! 7:42 in New Zealand. John, honestly, a pleasure to have you with us here. It's nearly 9 o'clock in the evening here in the UK, so nice that you've managed to catch the live stream. Theory, if I plug in over here, I will be able to hear what's going on. And everything's working this evening. This is incredible. I'm clearly giving this the kiss of death at this point, but my bottom camera, which normally freezes, in fact, it's not the camera that freezes, it's the Elgato Camlink capture, my new fancy bar at the top that's telling us that we're 18% of the way there, is working. And indeed, I can hear what's going on with the stream. That's awesome. That's looking... Wowzers, look at that. Stunning view. Absolutely stunning view. Right, folks, I'm afraid I need a very quick comfort break. I will leave you with that very spectacular view, and I will be back very, very, very shortly.
Maintaining 8500, looking for traffic, Cessna 402, Papa Echo.
If you've just joined the stream, then we are flying from Oslo, Norway to London Heathrow this evening. So currently cruising 30,000 feet, of course, because we've got because of the altitude that we're flying at, we've got the standard barometric pressure on, which accounts for the discrepancy. So always on standard barometric pressure once you've passed the transition altitude, or you've been assigned a flight level by ATC. So that sort of translates to 29,000 feet there or thereabouts this evening. You can see we're about 22% into the flight this evening, with a ground speed of 428 knots. Our ETA is about an hour from now, so 2100 Zulu. That will be 2200 British summertime, which is of course the time I'm on. John over in New Zealand, though, I think it's about 8 o'clock in the morning. Sounds like John's got COVID as well. I'm sorry to hear that, John. I hope you're not feeling too bad. Wish you a very speedy recovery. But nice to have you on the stream nonetheless. Look at that view, folks. You can actually see the curvature of the Earth. There's the sunsets just behind it there. So, looking good there. Don't appear to have missed any ATC instructions, which is good. We're on the correct squawk code as well. It's incredible the rate at which these aircraft moves. Yeah, John saying the stats at the top of the screen are a good add-on. Yeah, they are. When they work, of course, they do add another layer of complexity. But yes, I think they're nice. You can see just how quickly we're moving, how quickly the that bar at the top is moving across, the percentages ticking up fairly rapidly. Brilliant little app actually that I'm using. So it's a thing called Fly Alive that creates the bar at the top there. Just uses kind of standard interfaces, so FSUIPC, a connection into the sim. You can actually run it on a second PC, which is what I'm doing. I have a separate sim PC and stream PC, so the bar and all of the OBS, like recording, streaming, rendering, etc., is taking place on the streaming PC. The actual sim is running on the sim PC, funnily enough. And so the two are talking over the network to each other, and that's how the streaming PC is getting all of the flight information from the sim PC. You can also, like, I mean, there are like tools that you can use to capture, like if you're flying in DCS, to kind of get like telemetry and stuff, and see what was going on with the other aircraft, etc. So that's again, you can do that over the network. You can do it cross between different PCs. You can see where we are there. And, we're going to be sort of down there before we're really going to have to majorly consider a descent. Kind of this sort of long leg. It's not as long as you'd think, right? So if it's, I don't know, an hour and a half airborne, it's probably 30 or 40 minutes on this long stretch. Quite a lot of it is, the departure approach that we flew here, and then, Heathrow is not exactly a simple incoming approach. We're expecting a runway 9 left approach this evening. This is the chatter you can hear in the background here, the chatter that is sort of generated by Say Intentions AI. It's quite nice because it kind of fills the space, makes the world feel a little bit more sort of full, makes it feel a little bit more alive. But the major downside of it is like it's not relevant to the area that you're in. I said on one of the previous live streams I was doing that I didn't think that they were working on traffic injection. I actually got that wrong, so I'm very pleased to say that they are working on traffic injection, in fact. So I think whether it's Say Intentions AI or beyond ATC, I think that is going to be the real game changer, frankly. In terms of just bringing that level of kind of like VATSIM immersion, where you've got other traffic in there, when you've got your taxi instructions and you've actually got to worry about what other aircraft are doing and actually sit and consider, and you're not just given the holding point that is nearest the runway, you're actually given some of the holding points further down the taxiway to kind of control and stagger the traffic in. I'm really, really looking forward to that. I'm just going to grab my tablet to make sure it doesn't go to sleep. Just gave the old sim a little bunk up. In fact, what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to turn the Say Intentions voice up as well so that we don't miss any ATC calls. Bloody brilliant thing. Wonderful find, the open kneeboard. Very, 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 very impressed with that.
clear of restricted area. 250 tree, Mooney 567 Bravo Charlie.
We have a look and see what's going on at Heathrow. So, wowzers. Winds variable from 330 to 060 at 5 knots. QNH 1031 hectopascals. It's not crazy fast wind, but that variability is it's going to make for an interesting approach. I think they're expecting runway 09 left. So we're coming in on the Balmy 1 Hotel approach, which is not a terrible approach. So Balmy flight level 3. Is that 300? Yeah, okay. That makes a lot of sense. And then down is effectively stepping you down. 250 by Logan, 160 by Sabre. Some speed restrictions coming in here, 250 knots, and then down to flight level 70. Max speed of 220 knots, and then depending on what approach we select, but there are then a load of approaches sort of direct in from that balmy intersection that will take us, line us straight up for runway 09 left. ILS approach, I think this evening. May well fly that manually, but until then, yeah, look at that. That I sort of just in the time that I've been waffling on, kind of like 35% of the way into the flight. Even altitude using the semicircular rule. We're on a heading of between 180 and 364 degrees, so that's even altitudes, cruising at 30,000 feet. The discrepancy, of course, being as a result of us being on standard barometric pressure, because we're IFR and we're very high in the sky. See that sun still not completely disappeared. That is absolutely gorgeous. Dirty black contrail coming out the back. You can't see him hiding in there, but my jaundice friend, as always, is there. Fred being our co-pilot. Look how black that contrail looks at night. That's right, John, Fred. A very random fact, by the way, for my grandfather's name was Frederick, in fact. So it's not just a random name I plucked out of nowhere. We're making some pretty good progress. And once you get up to that cruise altitude, that's where you make all the distance. So fingers crossed, hopefully, as we get towards the end of April, we'll start seeing the imminent release of the latest sim update. And aircraft, or two aircraft more specifically, that I've been waiting for, the Just Flight Duke, both the turbine and piston version of that aircraft are waiting for that sim update to come out. It makes use of some very particular features that that aircraft needs. I was on the edge of my seat. A load of YouTube videos came out for it, and then they just sort of vanished and disappeared. This absolute beast of a plane. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. Looks absolutely fan-bloody-tastic. Really looking forward to doing some VAT sim in that. It's a black square aircraft, so you've got all of the very, very, very clever, proper gyro physics and stuff for all of the steam gauges, etc. So, yeah, and the crazy, crazy, crazy engine simulation. It, I think, looks like it may well be, at the risk of prejudging it before it's even released, certainly one of the best GA aircraft in the sim. It's definitely, I think, going to be a contender potentially for the best. I've absolutely loved the TBM 850. I mean, look at that! The St. Elmo's fire simulation on the windscreen, which again the TBM 850 does have. So if you fly near thunderstorms, etc. Yeah, that looks epically, epically, epically good. Oh, such a shame that this has been delayed. I was on the edge of my seat waiting for it, and then the sim update got delayed, and then the developer immediately came out, and I think they spent some time thinking about it. I think they sort of consulted with the beta testers on what to do. But I think unanimously the beta test, look at that, look, there's the gyroscope. Look at those physics, all the attenuation on the signal. You've got like friction between the needles as they move backwards and forwards. You can like sort of simulate tapping on the steam gauge as well, which is just absolutely awesome. Yeah, looking forward to that a lot. Yeah, 737-900 ER, 204 passenger capacity. Yeah, she's not a wide body aircraft, but she is a beaut. Slightly more sluggish feeling on the runway, particularly at takeoff. She uses far more of the runway length to get going. So we're about 35 minutes or so from our arrival. Probably going to have to head back into VR in the not so distant future. Start getting our approach set up. I'm fairly certain I've not had a handoff from ATC, and if I have, I've missed it. Most definitely. Yeah, it's not that long a flight, really, in the grand scheme of things. Just about to tip up on the 50% mark. It's definitely more than 50% of the time. But in terms of the distance, which is how I'm fairly certain that this app calculates that, in terms of the distance, it's 50. I mean, you can see that on the map, right? It's about 50% of the distance. I'm pleased with that. That appears to have worked today, which is grand. Just waiting for the technical gremlins to leap out. There appears to be no slowing down of releases for Microsoft Flight Simulator. So we've got Frankfurt in the making as well. That's been teased in the last week. Frankfurt Airport. Also another fairly sizable bit of aviation real estate. So looking forward to that. The Duke, as we've just talked about, imminently due. And I mean, probably the biggest deal for me at the moment is the PMDG 777. You heard it right, folks. The 777. We just had the VATSIM Cross the Pond event. Imagine flying that. I'm going to need a whole new set of you know, the if you look at the video on the underneath my virtual reality pilot logo, on my Bravo throttle quadrant, I've got some bespokely made 3D printed like flap detents and speed brake detents, etc., oversized handles, etc., to kind of help with the immersion, make it feel a bit more realistic. So the flap detents will, I suspect, not work with the 777 because they're calibrated to the point at which you need to move. For the ones I've got, the 737 flap detents, I suspect the 7... I mean, I'm happy to be wrong, by the way, if I don't have to spend more money, but I suspect the 737 ones, the 777 ones, sorry, my apologies, will be... require slightly different positions, so I will need a different different detent thing set up. So we're just over 50% of the way there now, folks. Still just catching that sunset in the background there. ETA's come in by a couple of minutes. So we're currently 20:27 Zulu time. We're expecting our arrival 21:06 Zulu, so in just over 30 minutes. If you've just joined the stream this evening, we're flying from Oslo, Norway, down into London Heathrow. We're approximately 53% of the way there, cruising at 30,000 feet this evening with a ground speed of 444 knots. As always, folks, this evening is an alcohol-fueled stream. Fine bottle of Aspel this evening, cider. Before anybody asks, the large bottle is not a bottle of wine. It's just a nice small drink of cider on a Sunday evening. Or a Sunday morning if you're John down in New Zealand. Okay, so 55% into the flight. I am going to very quickly replenish my cider. I will be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Right, it's time for me to start getting prepared for our arrival. So I'm going to get myself back over in VR, because it's going to be, once everything's set up on the tablet, etc., it's going to be much easier just to stay in VR. So, folks, I will check the comments periodically, but let's get back into virtual reality. A sort of moment of truth for us folks. It's always interesting as to whether we'll actually get back into VR. Hold on to your butts. Haha! Not too bad, that's worked. Not sure we need GSX right now. Oh, excuse me. Far too much cider this evening. Right. There we go. Grand. That's all looking good. I would think it's London Control we want. 13468. London Control, Speedbird 766 with you, flight level 300.
Speedbird 766, Amsterdam radar, roger.
Well, it's Amsterdam radar. My apologies. It's British. We think everywhere is the UK. Actually, not that bad myself, to be fair, but many of my countrymen are. Let's get. So we're on Amsterdam radar. I think I'm flying to Bristol because I do it a lot. 1031 on the QNH. 10. Oh, I cannot see you. That's 1038. It's 1031. Cannot see that for the life of me. 1031 hectopascals. Yes, that's correct. Okay. Thank you.
Bonanza 762 Alpha Bravo, maintain VFR below 7,000.
Maintaining VFR below 7,000, Bonanza 762 Alpha Bravo.
Right, where's our top of descent? Top of climb.
723 Foxtrot, Lima remain at or below 5,000.
Top of
Remaining
descent.
at or below 5,000 Cessna 723 Foxtrot Lima.
Army 1H. Top of descent. So I think it's going to be ILS 9 left. Barmy 1 Hotel. And we are transition. Lamb.
Speedbird 766, Amsterdam radar. You are leaving controlled airspace. Contact Oceanic Control. Primary is 119.565. Secondary is 132.335.
Over to Oceanic Control, Speedbird 766. That is actually one of the better handoffs I've had. Oceanic Control, Speedbird 766 with you, flight level 300. Let's make that a bit bigger so I can actually read it. And let's select 9 left, ILS It's looking great. Okay. So top of descent, in fact top of descent, if we go back to that plan view for a second, was actually on there. Zoom in a bit. See it just there. So which waypoint is that? Sonog. Top of descent is just after Sonog. Sonog there. Grand. Okay, we've got a little way to go yet. Oceanic Control, Speedbird 766, radio check.
Speedbird 766, Oceanic Control, pass your message.
Speedbird 766 with you, flight level 300.
Speedbird 766, copy flight level 300. Report your Mach number and position estimate.
Mark 0.66, and we are approaching waypoint Bimbo. Speedbird 766.
Speedbird 766, copy Mach 0.66 and approaching waypoint Bindu. Maintain flight level 300 and report waypoint Bindu overhead.
Maintain flight level 300, report overhead Bindu, flight Speedbird 766. Okay, it's working a lot better than when I tried it earlier today, so that's great. In fact, at the risk of giving this entire stream the kiss of death, everything has worked so far. Oceanic Control, Speedbird 766, overhead Bindu.
Speedbird 766, copy overhead Bindu. Proceed on course.
it has moments of working brilliantly sane tensions, and then it has moments of doing utterly bizarre stuff. But I mean, it's an early release, so like that's, I think, reasonable and fair, and yeah, I think they're onto something with this. I mean, I can't begin to tell you how much better than the standard ATC this is. When I started doing flight simulation, I don't know, 11 or 12 years ago, seriously, I mean, I started it probably back in 2004, but very casually started it relatively seriously kind of 11 or 12 years ago. Flat screen monitors, standard ATC, I mean, it just wasn't worth using. Sat here in VR, being able to take notes with a pen, AI ATC, the entire world modelled out, scenery on this scale. It's a very, very, very good time to be getting into flight simulation. So we're just coming up here. We'll start descending, I would think, relatively soon. Yeah, so just after Sonog. Yeah, that's gonna be fine.
Speedbird 766, contact London Control on 121.23.
London Control on 121.23, Speedbird 766. London Control, Speedbird 766 with you, flight level 300. See, again, I don't understand what the problem is there. That's the handover instruction I've been given. London Control, Speedbird 766, radio check. One, two, one, two, three. That's what we're on.
Speedbird 766, London Control, loud and clear.
London Control, Speedbird 766 with you, flight level 300, Speedbird 766.
Speedbird 766, roger.
That's a better, thank you. A little bit of acknowledgement. That'll make me feel paranoid. Deary me. Right, let's get the ILS details tuned in.
Speedbird 766. Expect the BARM 1H arrival for the ILS runway 27 left approach into Heathrow. Be advised that IFR approaches are still under development and are unlikely to work properly at this time. Improvements are being made daily, but strap yourself in for a bumpy arrival.
Expect the Barmy 1 Hotel approach, ILS runway 27 left, Speedbird 277. 277? 766. I knew what I meant. They distracted me with their bumpy arrival. Right, ILS 27 arrival. That's thrown me a little bit.
Speedbird 766, descend and maintain flight level 270.
Descend, maintain flight level 270.
Speedbird 766, descend and maintain flight level 270.
Descend and maintain flight level 270, Speedbird 766. Right, let's update. Our arrival is going to be a 27 left. Barmy 1 Hotel.
Speedbird 766, descend via BARM 1H for the runway 4 approach into Heathrow. QNH 1029er.
There is no runway 4. London Control, say again, Speedbird 766.
Speedbird 766, descend via BARM 1H for the runway 4 approach into Heathrow. QNH 1029er.
Descend via the Barman 1 Hotel approach, runway 4, QNH 1029, Speedbird 766. That doesn't make sense. London Control, Speedbird 766, request ILS runway 27 left, Speedbird 766.
Speedbird 766, cleared ILS approach, runway 27 left descend and maintain altitude 3000 until established on the localizer QNH 1029er.
Cleared ILS runway 27 left, descend, maintain 3000 feet, Speedbird 766.
flight level 190.
Descend and maintain flight level 190, Speedbird 766. Oh, I can't make up their mind, these lot. And that is because it is still in development, but we are going to stick with a runway 27 left. We're not going to keep bouncing backwards and forwards. It's going to get very confusing. Very.
Bird 766, climb and maintain flight level 190.
Maintain flight level 190, Speedbird 766. Goodness. Bumpy, bumpy, bumpy indeed.
Speedbird 766, contact London Control on 135.425.
London Control on 135.425, Speedbird 766. London Control, Speedbird 766, Barmy 1 Hotel arrival, with you 25,000 feet for flight level 190, Speedbird 766.
Speedbird 766, London Control, roger.
Okay, 109.5. And 269. We're going to have a little bit of a tailwind.
Speedbird 766, London Control, descend and maintain flight level 130.
Descend and maintain flight level 130. Two, 6, 9. 269.
Speedbird 766, descend and maintain flight level 100.
Descend and maintain flight level 100, Speedbird 766. What could go wrong? Ha ha!
American 880, descend via the star transition to approach at 1 tree 4.9er. Descending via the star, switching to 1 tree 4.9er, American 880. Southwest 912, proceed direct to the Blanc intersection. Direct to Blanc intersection, Southwest 912.
Looks amazing, even at night. A very, very, very impressive sim. So, currently descending 1400 feet per second.
Southwest 912, proceed direct to the Blanc intersection. Direct to Blanc intersection, Southwest 912.
You see, the chatter's nice, but I think we're going to go 119 decimal 730. That's going to be director. And tower, it's going to be 118 decimal 50505 or 118705, 118705 for tower.
Spirit 792, expect direct waypoint Tango India Mike in 5 minutes.
Expecting direct to Tango India Mike in 5, Spirit 792.
Speedbird 766, descend and maintain flight level 090.
Descend, maintain flight level 090, Speedbird 766. Not too shabby, right? So coming in here. Honestly, sorry, just you look up and you get a view like that. This sim absolutely blows my mind. When it works, it is a thing of epic beauty. When it doesn't work, it is frustrating on a level that I can't even begin to describe. But when it works, it is epically stunning. Look at that. It's incredible.
Southwest 912, proceed direct to the Blanc intersection. Direct to Blanc intersection, Southwest 912. Speedbird 766, descend and maintain flight level 060.
Descend, maintain flight level 060, Speedbird 766. Doing a reasonable job of stepping us down, actually, folks.
Maintaining VFR below 7,000 Bonanza 762 Alpha Bravo. Speedbird 766, contact Heathrow radar on 125.625.
Heathrow radar on 125.625, Speedbird 766. Heathrow radar, Speedbird 766 with you, Barmy 1 Hotel arrival, flight level 92 for flight level 060, Speedbird 766.
Speedbird 766 Heathrow radar, roger.
Okay, got a response, always a good sign. Start slowing the aircraft down.
Speedbird 766 Heathrow radar, descend and maintain 3,000.
Descend and maintain 3,000, Speedbird 766. Right, that's not flight level, that's an altitude, so we're over to the local QNH. They should have given us the local QNH, actually, as they gave us that altitude. Heathrow radar, can we get the local QNH, please? Speedbird 766. Going flaps 1. Let's get some landing lights on.
Speedbird 766 QNH 1030.
QNH 1030, Speedbird 766. Not sure what our app agrees. It does 1031, but
JetBlue 563, contact approach on 119.5, good day.
speed brakes armed.
Good day, JetBlue 563.
Spoilers deployed. Bringing that speed down, we're going to go flaps 5. Flaps 5's registering. All is looking good. One 109.5. 109.5 on both. 269. 269 on both.
FedEx 1296, cleared visual approach, runway tree 6 right, maintain 170.
Cleared visual, runway tree 6 right, maintaining 170, FedEx 1296.
Okay. Let's get that speed brake off. 200 knots for flaps 15.
United 229, turn left, heading 220 vectors for sequence.
220, United 229.
Delta 1721, maintain 170 knots to McGee. 170 to McGee, Delta 1721.
Speedbird 766, contact Heathrow Tower on 118.505.
Heathrow Tower on 118.505, Speedbird 766. Heathrow Tower, Speedbird 766, Barmy 1 Hotel arrival, 3,000 feet for ILS 27 left, Speedbird 766.
Citation November 4, Tree, Mike Whiskey, contact ground on frequency 121.6.
Switching to ground frequency 121.6 citation. November 4, Tree, Mike Whiskey.
Heathrow Tower, Speedbird 766, radio check.
Speedbird 766, Heathrow Tower, roger, readability 5.
Heathrow Tower, Speedbird 766, inbound ILS 27 left.
Speedbird 766, continue approach, runway 27 left.
Continue approach, runway 27 left, Speedbird 766. Okay, that is looking good. We're going to go flaps 15. No, flaps 15, not 25. And landing gear is coming down. 148 flaps 30. 148 flaps 30. There we go. 155.
Diamond Tree 71 Bravo, Charlie cleared to land runway 27, caution birds on final.
Cleared to land, runway 27, Diamond Tree 71 Bravo, Charlie.
Flaps 30. Right, the manual.
Glide slow. Glide slow.
Roger that.
Glide slow. Glide slow. Glide slow.
Right, we're
Skylane
low
422
and
Alpha Mike hold short
slow.
of runway 27 traffic on final approach.
Glide slow.
Holding short of runway 27, Skylane 422 Alpha Mike.
Heathrow Tower, Speedbird 766 on short final.
500. 400.
Speedbird 766, cleared to land, runway 27 left.
Clear to land, runway 27 left, Speedbird 766. Okay, we're on the glide slope. We're on speed. In fact, it's not terrible.
100.
Bit fast, bit high. Power's coming out.
50. 30. 20. 10.
Oh, little bounce. Reverses.
Bird 766, welcome to Heathrow. Contact ground on 121.855.
Ground on 121.855. $60 knots, reverses off. Manual braking. Taxi lights on.
Mustang November 1 Kilo Uniform 59 descend to pattern altitude, report a 2-mile final.
Descending to pattern altitude, will report 2-mile final, Mustang November 1 Kilo Uniform 59.
Skylane 422 Alpha Mike, make left traffic runway 12 cleared for takeoff. Making left traffic cleared for takeoff, runway 12, Skylane 422 Alpha Mike.
Heathrow ground, Speedbird 766, clear of runway 27 left.
Speedbird 766 Heathrow ground taxi to parking via Echo Lima Foxtrot. Good day.
Taxi parking via Echo Lima Foxtrot, Speedbird 766. Echo. Echo Lima Foxtrot. Echo Lima Foxtrot here. So Echo Lima Foxtrot. Let's get our landing lights off. Let's get the flaps up, speed brake off. Fairly epic scenery here.
King Air 145 Kilo Alpha taxi to holding point Bravo 2 via taxiway Delta and Echo. Taxiing to holding point Bravo 2 via Delta and Echo King Air 145 Kilo Alpha. Tornado 892 Tango Oscar runway 27 line up and wait traffic on final.
Runway 27 line up and wait. Tornado 892 Tango Oscar.
Falcon 762 Foxtrot Romeo hold short of runway 10 traffic on short final. Holding short of runway 10 Falcon 762 Foxtrot Romeo. Cherokee Tree 15 X-ray Papa hold short of runway 22 traffic on final approach.
Holding short of runway 22 Cherokee Tree 15 X-ray Papa.
This is Foxtrot here. Iconic Heathrow Tower. This looks like as good a stand as any. Stand 321. Why the devil not?
Embraer 225 Echo Mike taxi to holding point Tango 2 via taxiway hotel. Taxiing to holding point Tango 2 via hotel Embraer 225 Echo Mike.
Let's get the APU
Embraer
on.
225 Echo Mike follow the King Air, then hold short of runway tree 0.
Following the
Not
King Air,
sure
holding
these
short of
jetways
runway
will work
30,
with this
Embraer
plane, but
225 Echo Mike.
we'll soon see, won't they? Little tiny bounce on the landing, but it wasn't terrible. APU's coming up.
Hawker 511 Hotel Alpha hold short of taxiway Echo, give way to the incoming Falcon. Holding short of taxiway Echo, giving way to the incoming Falcon Hawker 511
EGT's
Hotel
coming
Alpha.
down. APU power. Engine cut off.
Learjet tree, Lima Juliet, cross runway 27, contact tower on 123.8. Crossing runway 27, contacting tower on 123.8, Learjet tree, Lima Juliet.
The boarding requested.
Gulfstream 671 Gulf Sierra, hold position traffic on final approach. Holding position Gulfstream 671 Gulf Sierra.
That worked okay in the end. Yeah. Very nice. Get our passengers and their luggage deboarded.
Passengers deboarding starting.
And ground power unit. Shocks are on. And we can get the APU off. Boom. You can see our passengers leaving us there. See if we can come out of VR.
Airbus 450 Alpha Bravo, hold short of taxiway Lima traffic on final approach. Holding short of taxiway Lima Airbus 450 Alpha Bravo.
There we go, folks. Not too shabby a flight. One of the longer streams that we've done, actually. So, just a smidge over 3 hours. It's, yeah. Shockingly, all of the technology has worked. I wish I didn't sound quite so surprised. Yeah, you should be able to see passengers. Hey, there you can just see them there, just deboarding, deboarding the plane. Luggage is being collected. And actually, to be fair, I mean, the ATC was not perfect. It wasn't terrible either. I think that was a fairly successful flight, folks. So there we go. PMDG's 737-900ER from Oslo, Norway to London Heathrow. A smidge over 3 hours. I think I'm fairly certain that is the longest live stream that we've done. So you get some sense of the increased kind of VATSIM content, the ATC AI content. We're getting more and more and more into jetliners. For those that love general aviation, I haven't forgotten about that. It is my first love, so there'll be some GA content coming soon. But until then, I hope you're very well, wherever in the world you are. Stay safe in the skies, and I will see you in my next one. John. Yeah, thanks. That another great flight. Thank you. And yes, I look forward to seeing the Duke as well. Right, folks, that's your lot. I'm afraid it's time for me to go and chill out for half an hour before I go to bed. I've got work early tomorrow morning. Ta-ra!